Hi there, welcome back to 19 Considerations. What we're going to look at today very quickly is the home infrared sauna, the pop-up infrared sauna that I mentioned briefly in my personal protocol DVD a couple of episodes back. So very, very simple, three components. You've got your infrared light and heat source, your enclosure to enclose the heat, and then this is the array here to which the bulbs attach. So we'll go through very quickly. The most sort of technical aspect is the infrared light source. So I shopped around a little bit and really finished up with the Phillips Infrafil as being the best bulb. This one here is 150 watt, 230 volt. This is by far the best bulb that I've found. It's really heavy duty, great heat and light source, and it may be difficult to see in this light, but the covering of the bulb has a texture which prevents glare, so that's great when you're in an enclosed space, particularly when you're facing the light array. So I've got a couple of 150s, and these are 100 watts. I think ideally running 4 150s would be fine. This is slightly less wattage, but it's what I have after experimenting with multiple bulbs, and I wanted to keep the budget down, so I had to stop buying bulbs. I also bought these are 250 watt infrared lights. These were a lot cheaper. However, I think they're intended for agricultural and maybe commercial use. Very bright, very glaring, and the worst thing is that if you're sitting in an enclosed space with these, you're probably going to asphyxiate from the horrible chemical off-gassing that these produce. So although these are much cheaper, they really are a no-no. So yeah, don't go with generics. I really would recommend the Phillips Infrafil. Also, these are developed specifically for near-infrared therapy, light therapy, so they do have the correct wavelengths of light that you're going to require. The enclosure is a pop-up changing tent or bathroom tent. I've used this brand here, Wolfwise, and when we pop up this in a minute, you'll see why I've chosen that. But this is fantastic. It breaks down to this, so it just sits in the corner of a room somewhere or in a closet. Doesn't take up any space when you're not using it. Finally, the light array. So simply, these are vivarium lights for a reptile house, that sort of thing, and simply spaced and screwed onto a board that I had lying around. Holes drilled in the back for the cables. So there's 4 cables. Keeping it simple, I haven't merged them into a single switch. They just plug into a power strip. And really it's that simple. Your light housing, the appropriate bulbs, and the enclosure that you're going to use to contain some of that heat, because although well, infrared heats directly, so it's directly going to heat the body as opposed to a traditional sauna which will heat the atmosphere and therefore the body. The infrared light, the near infrared, preferable over far infrared, near infrared penetrates a lot deeper into the body and actually into the cells, and stimulates mitochondrial activity, upregulates the sort of metabolism of the cells in general, and also, as I mentioned briefly, creates the heat shock proteins and the anti-inflammatory pro-immune system cascade that follows on from that. To find out more about that, I'd recommend you look up Dr. Rhonda Patrick's fantastic analysis of saunas. You'll find her on YouTube, Instagram, etc. If you want deeper information, that's where I go for that. So what we'll do now is we will pop this up and take a look at how it is in situ. Okay, here we go. Okay, so here we are basically set up. As you can see, tent popped up in next to no time in YouTube world. Base is about 110 centimetres squared or 43 inches. so it doesn't take up a great deal of room. There's a little bit of extra height on this that possibly, you know, a smaller tent would be slightly better, but you've got a breathable top with a covering there, so that helps to retain the heat. The internal surfaces, floor mat, are silvered. It's difficult to see obviously in the red light. They're redded, but they're silvered. And so that's the internals. And there are the 4 bulbs working. And so it's easy to just jump in, zip it up, and cook yourself for, I usually do 20 to 40 minutes. And then again, it's 2 minutes to turn it off, unscrew the bulbs, put them away, and drop the tent down. So it's super, super easy. So that's the near-infrared sauna. Very easy to make at home, very cheap to make. I'll leave links below for where I resourced the different components and the costings I paid at the time, but it's going to come in roundabout or less than £100, $100 mark. So it's very, very affordable and a great way to boost your health generally. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this, and I will catch up with you next time. All right, take care.